Wonderful to have you here with us, and we are all looking forward to get acknowledged with some amazing and some good points regarding the end of the session. So to begin with, we want to know a little about you, how you got into architecture, and what are you currently working on?
So, hi Manan, and hello to everyone, whoever is currently seeing our video. For me, I think architecture was always, so my father is an architect. My grandfather was an architect as well. And so I'm the third generation architect in my family. Also, I don't know why, but I'm able to hear my own echo. Is it because of some network issue? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, so basically, for me, architecture was always, most people think it was pre-decided, not decided. My family wanted me to do engineering, and just like most people, I did not want to do engineering, which is why I opted for architecture.
And just like most people, I did not want to do engineering, which is why I opted for architecture.
And which is why I think I ended up giving the entrance exams, and luckily got better marks there, and that's how I took architecture. Eventually, what I realized was that architecture is more about how you are as a person and what expression of design and expression of yourself you put into it. So eventually, then I realized that this is something I'm genuinely liking, and eventually ended up becoming an architect. So yeah, that's about it. And right now I'm currently working on, so I'm the design studio head of Daisaria Associates, and we are currently working on a lot of residential, commercial, township projects, etc. We have a prominence in about 150 to 200 projects across Mumbai currently. So yeah, lucky to have this work, and very happy to share some insights today, because I think we're going to do something really bold today, which is telling people a big exclamation or a big question mark to a very important question most people ask: कि masters कौन सा किया, या masters करना चाहिए या नहीं करना चाहिए. So I think it's going to be a fun evening today. Yeah. Yes, I was talking. I don't know how much did people actually hear, but I was just talking about the top 5 architects that we know all throughout our educational life, whether it's Frank Lloyd Wright or Le Corbusier or Mies van der Rohe or Louis Barragan or Tarawando. They were not even architects. Okay, they eventually grew to become architects because of their experiences, because of what they have learned from the vicinity or from their experiences, right? Then eventually education became very, very important in terms of how people perceived architects to be. Like, they were supposed to be really smart and very well educated, etc. And then eventually people started doing double degrees. Some people started doing PhDs, etc. And then eventually we came to an era or a life, I can say, or a phase where masters became a trend. Okay, that अच्छा आप 5 साल architecture का हो गया, अब मैं जा रहा हूँ 2 साल के लिए मेरे masters के लिए, या I'm going for masters for whatever course it can be. Okay, now what I noticed was majorly was, I don't think people understand what is the essence of masters. I don't think people understand why is masters even supposed to be done. So there are 4 main reasons why people do masters. Okay, number 1 is that it is a ticket for you to go abroad. Okay, it's settle abroad. If you don't have that much of a backing, if you feel that it's not going to be something where you're going to be able to work over here and make good enough amount of money or a good lifestyle, which is why you go and switch. You go for masters, because it becomes a ticket. It sort of is a visa for you for your future life to settle abroad. That is number 1.
Exactly.
Number 2 is, some people wish to have that work experience outside, so they feel that masters is going to be a better way of going and joining a firm abroad instead of directly applying to firms from here, because no one's going to take them. That's what they think, and no one's going to take them with the education they already have in India. Okay.
Yeah.
Third one is to try and have an edge over the others. Now, what most people think is that there isn't a pay hike. Okay, if you do masters, you're going to get a really good salary as soon as you come back to India. And then finally, so the people think that, okay, masters is going to be a sort of a ladder for me to go higher in terms of the salary. And the fourth part is that if you want actually a specialization, okay, if you want a specialization in a particular thing and you really want to get better at that particular thing in architecture, then you would want to do masters. Now, out of the four things that I said, all of them are true, all of them are done also, but what people forget is masters is actually about the last one only. But we end up doing all the other things way more. हमें abroad settle होना है. I want to work in the US. I want a lifestyle. I want to be able to sip Starbucks coffee in the morning and show off on Instagram. Okay, that can be your life, but I don't think masters is required for that. So my opening statement for my entire argument is going to be that masters isn't bad, or it isn't right, or it isn't wrong. Okay, but I'm not going to be diplomatic about it. I have done masters myself. Okay, so मुझसे जितने लोगों का पैसा बचेगा वो मैं I'll be very thankful that I'm probably going to be saving some amount of money for people who don't wish to do or don't know what they want to do. So my whole point is that why are we not still in that zone where knowledge is supposed to be given more importance than education? If you want to have a degree by yourself, if you want to have a degree for yourself, it can even be done in India. It can even be done for you rather take an experience for 3-4 years in a particular firm, that's going to be way more than a degree. Okay, so ultimately, masters is becoming something which is नहीं बहुत सारे लोग कर रहे हैं. अरे मेरे तो 4 friends चले गए, मेरे तो 10 friends चले गए. My entire batch is now a masters graduate. I'm feeling lonely. It's not like that. I think people need to come out of that zone that masters is a competition and we are not in some rat race. See, I always tell people who speak to me about masters is that you decide, okay? You decide, either get paid for something you like to do by working in a firm, get paid for something that you like to do. You like to do architecture, so get paid for doing that, okay? Or pay someone else to teach you something you already know, but it's not exactly architecture, but it's still architecture somewhere hypothetical in the bubble in their own world. So you decide whether you want to be paid for what you know, what you want to even explore further, or whether you want to pay someone so that they can teach you something you already know. Now, which is why what comes in is specialization, I think. So we will go into specialization, which will be the last part of my answer, which is, if you do know what you want to do, first and foremost, एक तो ये सारे enthusiastic teenagers जो निकल के आते हैं ना architecture colleges से 21, 22, 23, and this notion that they have that नहीं अब तो मुझे भागना है, I need to do masters, I have to finish it off, साथ में ही पूरा education में complete कर दूंगा, तो सब हो जाएगा, I'm going to be नहीं मुझे ना पापा ने बोला है कि बेस्ट कॉलेज में मास्टर्स लेना है, मास्टर्स करना है. अरे बट तुम्हें ही नहीं पता तुम्हें किस में मास्टर्स करना है. हाउ आर यू गोइंग टू नो व्हाट यू लाइक टू डू विदाउट एक्सपीरियंसिंग what is architecture all about? For 8 to 5 years of architecture in the education field does not give you enough experience or enough knowledge only of what you specially want to do in your life. I'm saying this very bluntly, and I've said this for every session that I have taken, that in spite of it being one of the longest courses on the planet, it is still not enough for you to decide what you want to do in your life. Because there are 13 different kinds of specializations, from a lighting designer to a product designer, from an interior designer to a licensing architect, from a design architect to a facade consultant, from a sustainability expert to someone who is the best at climatology. So there are so many spectrums, but how will you know that what you are actually good at without experiencing it yourself? So the first and foremost step should be, एक तो ये immediately masters में जाना बंद करो. This is not a competition, and as soon as that happens, I always say that start learning, start experiencing 2-3 years of experience immediately after your graduation is required. Bhale, whether you work in one firm, whether you work in two firms, don't work in more than two firms for a particular stipulated time, because if you don't work in a firm for at least 2 years, you don't get to see projects into reality. Okay, so it's always better for you to work for at least 2 years in a firm and then maybe switch. So I'll always prefer that you experience those kinds of architecture, apply to firms where you think they align with your interests first. And then you may never, I know so many people who have done masters and are currently working as project managers. Okay, that's all. So अगर and Indians में एक चीज तो ये जो दो बहुत fantastic courses बनाए हुए हैं ना, masters in project management and masters in construction management, those courses are only for people who want to settle abroad. If you're going to do project management and construction management and you're going to come back, you're the most stupid person on this planet. The reason why I'm saying this with such aggression and love together is because Indians का nature है, we are very good at project management in general. हमने जिस तरह से 5 साल मैनेज किया है, क्या आपको लगता नहीं है कि हम एक क्लाइंट मैनेज कर सकते हैं या एक प्रोजेक्ट मैनेज कर सकते हैं? Inherently, Indians are very good at project management. Please do not become a prey of this entire money-making business, which is masters. Okay. Now, having said that, I very well respect people who are doing masters as well, but I will only respect them if they bloody hell know that this is the reason why I wanted to do masters. Okay, and I will also respect them further if they've taken the enough experience and then gone ahead to do masters. Sorry, I was very patriotic about my answer, but yeah.
No, but it is like very clear and very well explanation. Like it is clear, like everything. And asking about thing like what makes you your masters from the top university.
Yeah, so what made my, so I did my master's in architecture and urban design from Columbia University. Now, I'm going to break again this answer into two parts. Number one is if you're doing masters, please make sure it's from a worthy university, from a university that you're going, you know that you're going to take a good exposure. Yahan pe na, I'll not take names of colleges, but like say for example, there is a JJ School of Architect, like JJ College, there is a Rachna College, but then there is an XYZ College also. There is an SPA Delhi. There is a SEP, but there is another XYZ college also. There are, I don't think people know this, but 300 architectural colleges have opened in the last 10 years in India alone. Okay, which means that you cannot guarantee the education standard and quality in our own country. How are you going to guarantee that in another country which is apparently developed? Okay, which is apparently developed just because नहीं, मतलब आजकल तो हर एक कोई भी टॉम डिक एंड हैरी कर लेता है मास्टर्स, नहीं just because पापा ने कहा है. So talking about my masters, पापा ने नहीं कहा था कि मास्टर्स करो. The reason why I did masters was because see, firstly I worked I worked for 2 years in architectural practice, and in those 2 years I realized that okay, my expertise lies in planning, township plannings, design, any design which is master layout level, which is more than one buildings, etc. So, which is why I realized that I wanted to go into a spectrum which will make my vision broaden. Okay, so which is why I took up urban design and I applied to 5 universities. I got into all 5 of them, and I was very sure that I'm going to do masters only if I get into a good college. I did not want to do masters because karna hai. Okay. Today, when I look back, I will still say, although it was the best college, although it was the best experience that I got, but I still feel that 1 year, if I would have worked, okay, maybe if I would have worked in an internship along with my masters or whatever whatsoever I would have been able to do professionally, would have been more beneficial to me than only a master's degree. So, in general, आप किसी contractor के पास जाओ, आप किसी client के पास भी hiring architect के पास जाओ, they care about what your acumen is professionally, not educationally. Please get this right. Okay, do not fall in the trap. Again, I'm not advocating don't do masters. I'm advocating think smartly. Okay, Don't take an answer of yes or no of doing masters because I said it, or Manan said it, or Daisaria Associates has said it, or any of your friends have said it, or anyone. Think practically how genuinely helpful masters is going to be. Okay, and do not go into this zone where you feel that it's going to be easier for you to come back and get a higher degree. We've done an analysis, and trust me, the hike is not more than 15,000 to 20,000 rupees, and that anyway that hike will happen if you anyway continue in that particular firm, irrespective. Okay, and that hike of masters of 15,000 to 20,000 rupees per month ka salary, that is on the cost of you taking a loan or already spending between 30 lakhs to 1 crore rupees on masters.
Yes.
Okay,
and also spending the
yeah, so like I'm just getting notifications on my personal chat saying that you're really brainwashing people, but I don't mean to brainwash. I'm just saying things that are not spoken. Like I think everyone is in this zone where the life ends where you see someone posting a photo them being in a grad school. Please look at the backstory. Hear their backstory. Was it worth it? If it was worth it, why did they pick that course? And don't first to stop comparing yourself with other people. Think for yourself. Now I will talk in detail about some specializations just so that people are aware, in terms of what courses are available. So see, obviously when we are talking about architecture, the most 5 prominent master's courses are project management, construction management. They're almost saute bhai samajh lo aap. Different countries name them differently. There's urban design, there is urban planning, there is landscape design, and then there is in general M.Arch, okay, a general M.Arch. So these 5 are the most popular ones, and I think the 6th one that is coming up is sustainability. So yeah, that is up. Now, when you talk about any of these 5 masters, if you do a master's outside and come back, listen to me, first study the curriculum. The curriculum itself is based on their country, their city, their wards, their everything. So you're not going to really implement those things in a developing country like India if you're going to come back. What you will learn for sure is the systems. You will learn the systems, you will learn the way people, the layers of an urban fabric of different cities. Then you will probably learn a lot of softwares, you will learn a lot of your sort of exposure increases because you're going to meet people from multiple countries, etc. But now you have to think in terms of, is your exposure going to increase by meeting multiple people who are getting educated, or is your exposure going to increase by working on projects of that scale with an architect and continuing in that firm for a long period where you become a project head or probably a senior architect in that same firm? Okay. Again, when it comes to entrepreneurship as well, I have so many friends and I have so many of my colleagues who are, who we are very closely associated with through Daisaria. None of them have done masters and all of them have fantastic practices. Most of them are interior designers. Some of them are stylists. Some of them are, they are these bungalow designers, etc. Some of them are working at very high positions at, name it, whether it's Hafiz Contractor, PG Patti, Sandeep Shikre, any good firm from Kamal Malik to, Hiten Sethi sir's office, anyone. They are only and only going to focus on what experience you have and how is that experience being brought to the table. So you have to decide between the bookish knowledge part or the part where you're actually hands-on on site or trying to work on those kind of projects. I would rather recommend इतना आप पैसा दे रहे हो ना उससे अच्छा 6 फॉर्म में आप इंटर्नशिप करो ना, वो आप 6 फॉर्म में आप उतना कमा लोगे, कमा भी लोगे, कमा तो ठीक है, एक्सपीरियंस कमा लोगे, which no masters can give you. No masters can give you. Okay, I am telling you, there is this word called GFC. GFC is good for construction drawings. Okay, I came to know what GFCs were when it was my first day of office at Daisaria Associates. Okay, so, but I was not taught that. I was not taught how was I supposed to negotiate with a tile manufacturer or a tile vendor to get the best rate for my client. I was not taught how to make a feasibility for a project in Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore. Is a project really viable, feasible? So instead of doing that, and now we have such a huge spectrum of multiple courses, multiple online courses, so much of it is full of education and full of educational platforms where people can learn softwares, where people can learn making feasibilities, where people can learn actual techniques of building a BIM model and so many other things. So I'm not saying that masters is the only way you can gain experience and only way you can be better in your life. My only point is question that statement itself, because once you question it, that's when you will start giving yourself your answers. That okay, is it really required or is it not? Is it something because it's the societal norm of doing masters? That's why I want to do it, or what?
So, like, you have covered up a lot of questions that I was about to ask you. Like, of course, like, I want to ask you, like, where we can, what prefer you the most, India or abroad? Are you?
Okay, so if you do decide to do masters, first I'll not focus on the country. I will rather focus on the course. So if you are wanting to, and you have to first take the decision whether you are going to stay abroad or come back. If you want to stay abroad, you have to do a masters abroad, because it's very difficult. Although people say that nahi main India se bhi main apply kar sakta hu, but it becomes very difficult because the firms will then eventually have to sponsor your visa and all of those things, which is why it becomes a problem. So if you want to settle abroad, you should definitely go for masters. Whatever course you want to do, that's up to you. But if second is, have you figured out your specialization? So if you figured out your specialization, then you have to decide that specialization is better in India or is it better abroad? Because honestly, urban design courses are way better in India than anywhere else. Okay, and I'm saying this personally, being an urban design graduate from Columbia University, because they teach things which are fabulous. I mean, the system, the faculty, everything is amazing. Okay, and I have a lot of respect for them. But they will still teach everything with the perspective of it being a very hybrid model for all the people to sort of understand and come to a similar ground. Someone's from Canada, someone's from Mexico, someone's from Russia, someone's from India. So it's a mixed breed. Okay, they have to tackle all the students at the same time. If you're going to do masters, if you're going to do practice urban design eventually in India, then might as well think of a nice institution in India itself, which will teach you the Indian systems, the Indian networks, the Indian layers, because we have to understand it. So which is why I'm saying that understand what specialization you want to do, and if you have understood the specialization, then decide where is it better. Like advanced architectural design is really good in US, but I prefer UK, I prefer Singapore. So, but these are all personal preferences. Okay, so I don't think it is about India or abroad. I think it's about the course, and then you have to decide which university is good. अच्छा, अगर आप बोलने के लिए बोलोगे कि मैं यूएस जा रहा हूँ, यूएस में कौन से गांव के लास्ट गली के अंदर कौन सी यूनिवर्सिटी है, बोलने के लिए आप बोलोगे कि मैं यूएस जा रहा हूँ मास्टर्स के लिए. बट इफ इट्स नॉट फ्रॉम अ रिनाउंड यूनिवर्सिटी, यू आर नेवर गोइंग टू बी एबल टू. आप जा रहे हो शो ऑफ के लिए ना, अगर फॉर एग्जांपल शो ऑफ के लिए जा रहे हो, तो देन माइट एज वेल मेक इट फ्रॉम अ रिनाउंड यूनिवर्सिटी, राइट? So, but if that's not the concern, then you should definitely look at the course. Sometimes and any university. Achha, one more thing. If people want to do masters, and if there are universities that are taking them without IELTS, TOEFL, or at least maybe GRE, maybe TOEFL and another exam, or at least one of these exams. If someone is taking you without any of these exams, and you can imagine then what the college is. Okay, it's only a money-making business. Then they just want to harness students, and India is a big market. Okay, so I think it's important that you understand I mean, if you want to do architecture, you'll go to the top college of your city at least, which is what you should do in case of masters as well. So I don't think it's about India or abroad. It's about the course that you have to finalize, and then eventually the university. Then it doesn't matter if that university is in Germany. Okay, TU Delft in Netherlands is one of the best universities if you want to practice urban design in abroad or anywhere in Europe. TU Delft in Netherlands is amazing, but it's the only university that's very renowned in Netherlands. But people don't prefer to go to Netherlands because there are a lot of other issues in terms of citizenship and all of those things. But as a university, it's really good, which is why I think deciding on the course will make you decide on everything else.
Talking about the course part, like if someone wants to do like able to hear?
Yeah, I am.
So like talking about the course, like if someone wants to study about a particular niche, what he should prefer? To study a master course about it, or should experience a particular thing in a field part?
Definitely experience. So even if you want to specialize, first cross-check whether you actually want to specialize in it by working in a firm. So you work in a firm and you realize that, okay, maybe I want to actually take this ahead in my life. I want to become an entrepreneur and maybe I will require masters for that. That's a personal call. Okay. But then you should be in that state to take that personal call, because then it is about whether आपके पापा का पैसा है या आप लोन ले रहे हो, और अगर लोन ले रहे हो तो आपको भरपाई कैसे करने वाले हो. So you have to think of all those aspects as well. Okay, and Manan, I think we should also just make sure that everyone. So guys, if you all have questions, maybe they can just put in the questions on the chat site, and then use the last 10-15 minutes to answer those. Right? Yeah. Sorry, Manan. Your next question, please.
Like we'll take one from what should one do if you don't opt for masters, gain extra knowledge?
Work. I mean, work your ass off, man. I mean, there's so much work all over the world, and India is a developing country. So I think you have so many metros. You even have the rural areas. There's so much scope of work. So you should definitely work. Even before you start your own firm, you should take a practice. You should practice as an assistant architect, as a project architect in a firm. That will always give you a reality check.
So, like, do you think the practical world seems to overcome our creative side by limiting our exposures to the master's part?
So honestly, I think I don't think so. I mean, the creativity part, honestly, is something which you should promote in yourself. I mean, I think if you are passionate about your creativity, you are going to get clients like that. If I'm going to design a particular space in a particular way, because the client has told me to design in a particular way, it is not a reflection of me, it's a reflection of the client. So he's not the architect, I am the architect, right? So you have to make sure that, and in general also, I think I don't need to say this to most architects. Architects have an amazingly huge ego, which we also term as self-respect sometimes, but we are very egoistic in terms of our design. We are very, very patriotic in terms of designs. So I think it's about the experiences only. Work in a firm, work in multiple firms also, and you should be good. For how many years after B.Arch one should gain experience before masters? I'm going to take that question because I think it's an important question. I think, Siley, I think it's a bare minimum of 2 years. I would definitely recommend 2 years of proper working and then go for masters. I think you need a bare minimum of 2 years as an assistant architect, as a junior architect somewhere. In 2 years, you'll also figure out what niche of architecture you want to take ahead in your life. Yeah, Manan, you want to take some questions?
So we have a question from Kunal. If someone wants to start their own practice, so for how long do you suggest to work under someone, and which firm type do you suggest?
So I think Kunal, I think what you should do is essentially take a hybrid firm, a firm which does multiple things at the same time. Whether it is, some of them do architectural designing, some of them do product designing, some of them do interiors, but there are very few firms that do multiple things within the same firm. Okay, so you'll get to see different departments. So I don't mean take a very big firm, and I don't mean take a very small firm as well. Take a mid-sized firm and work there, but stick to that firm for at least 2 to 3 years. Only then will you learn the systems and you will be able to take things forward. I also believe that there is no such thing as you need to work for a minimum years before you start your own thing. I think it is about, is majorly that it's completely on you. I mean, if you want to work somewhere, you should work somewhere. But if you think that you're confident enough that you already have a network, you already have contacts, you already have your own acumen to start working immediately after graduation, that is also completely up. I'm actually up for people becoming entrepreneurs after graduation. I'm absolutely against people going for masters after graduation. So there is no such thing that how many years you need to work, but ideally, if you want to gain experience of the professional world, which our architectural education doesn't end up giving us, then somewhere between 2 to 5 years, some people are good in 2 years, some people need 5 years to gain the correct experience.
Yeah. Like, what is the most overrated and underrated thing about masters?
Okay. The most overrated thing is that masters is going to change my life. Okay, I think nothing can change your life. Only experiences can change your life. Only what you learn out of it can change your life. If you're going to think that, oh, I'm going to get like a $40,000 package and all of that, but you're going to spend $25,000 out of that, and you're going to live away from your family. You're going to live away from your relations. You're going to live in isolation. You're going to obviously make a new life, but all of that. So there's आपको तोलना पड़ेगा उसको. So I think it's very overrated that it changes your life, because I know that it can change to the good, it can change to the bad, right? So it's very overrated. What is underrated is, I think India is underrated as a master's platform. I think people really need to sort of think in terms of what horizons are there in India itself to opt for masters, especially for courses where you think India is better than other countries to actually opt for masters.
This Rahul Baddi.
Rahul has a big question. I have completed my B.Arch this year, done my internship and continue to work too, but disappointed by salary that we are getting. We spend lakhs, but what about returns of investment? So Rahul, you've actually answered your own question in a way that you've already spent lakhs and you're going to be spending more lakhs if you're going to go for masters, right? So rather step up the ladder professionally, look for firms that genuinely respect your talent. And it also totally depends on which kind of city you're working in, because some cities, tier 2 cities, don't pay architects that well. Tier 1 cities probably do, in that also there is a lot of segmentation in terms of where the office is located. But I think it is completely, it has to do with experience. I mean, I think, to be very honest, starting from say 14,000 all the way till 1 lakh, you can reach within 7 to 8 years as an architect. Okay, I'm obviously talking about in monthly salary. About 8 years of your experience in a particular firm, you should be in a comfortable zone between, obviously, anywhere ranging between, in a higher side, ranging between 60,000 to 1 lakh, and which obviously starts as architects, it starts at just probably 14,000, is what I know, at least from cities across India. Okay, a lot of questions, Manan. Just see which one do you want me to answer.
So we can take one from Samita. Like she's asking, could you suggest some courses which we can do as a working professional other than marketing?
Okay, so Samita, I'll divide that again on question into two parts, answer into two parts. One is take the software-based knowledge, and number two is take the acumen-based knowledge. Okay, the software-based knowledge means you can probably do a BIM course, you can do a Rhino Grasshopper course, you can do all of that. I mean, there are so many firms who are doing that, and certified courses, please. Don't go to a random stranger. And second is acumen-based, so like making feasibility reports, making there are a lot of these sustainability and even. I mean, a lot of courses which talk about project management, etc., which are also online, okay, which teach you the gist of the course, but are not necessarily the master's course. It's like a certification course. So you should definitely look up that. But my answer would be take one software course and take one acumen course at the same time. It would be a good combination. You don't get bored at any time.
Yeah.
Okay. For a fresher, where should one start? with? A large scale firm like Hafiz Contractor or a small scale firm? So first, I love your name, Kiwi. Kiwi, I'm going to say that there is no such thing as a large scale firm or a small scale firm. It is a large scale practice. So you should talk about the scale of the project instead of talking about scale of the firm. You take a decision what scale of project you want to go for, and then pick the firm you want to work in. For BIM, which software is better, Rhino or Revit? It's generally Revit, but Rhino is more fluid with the forms, and this is not going to be the platform where we'll discuss that. Doing masters and coming back to India for practice, is it worth it and will it help us? Daman Shergill, no, it won't. I don't have a simpler answer than that.
And we have this question repetitively: scope of doing masters in interior and furniture design.
No man, just work in a practice. You work in a furniture design studio. You work in a a studio which does actually make their own products, and you're going to learn way more than what any course is going to teach you. But yeah, I will not say that interior, because those courses are rather smaller, because most of them are 9 months and 12 months. So if you do want to do it, spend some money and have some fun time, you can do it. You can still do it. Do you think masters from CEPT or IIT Bombay in product in industrial design is good to go if I want to pursue this career along with my architecture firm? Yeah, if you want to pursue your career along with your architecture firm, yeah, you should. CEPT and IIT Bombay are pretty good in terms of product and industrial design.
Yeah. Do we have some more questions? Yeah.
Manan, did we finish your questions? Sorry, I cut you off.
We have one like, what would you say is the one key for your success, for your growth?
Okay, one key to my success is firstly understanding that no one can get successful so soon when you're an architect. So we are all growing only, and there is no such benchmark that we put for success. But I think when should you understand that you're successful is when your client comes back with a second project. That means he was very happy with your first project and your work. I think that itself is the benchmark for anything to know that someone's come back to you for your work, for your ethics, for the way you handle things. So you can become the top architect of India and still not have clients coming back to you for work because they were not happy with your service. So it's not about being successful. I think it's about, and even if it is about being successful, your measurement should always be like that. If a client comes back with another project for you, you're successful. Oh, and that's when you can hike your fees also. So probably it's good.
So we have another, we are not given ample knowledge of landscape during the BR. What is your day on master in architecture from universities like SPNs?
Masters in landscape architecture from universities like CEPT and SPA. I think for masters in landscape and urban design specifically, Indian institutions are doing really good. They are having the right exposure also. So yes, definitely. If you know that you want to align towards that and then eventually work in a firm, you should go for masters in landscape. Landscape and urban design are very good in India. Opinion of Bauhaus University. I have not heard of it, Harika. I'm sorry.
So we are open to more questions. People, if you are interested to get your answers, you can.
People are not here to look at our shining faces. So quickly, let's have some questions so we can get as much clarity for people who are probably in a dilemma.
So we have one more. What is your opinion on master conservation and restoration, like regarding the future scope?
Conservation architects, restoration architects are now getting respected. But if you're doing that, also that masters should be done in India only, because it will be stupid to not do masters in a country full of heritage and go somewhere else, right? Yeah. So it's an upcoming realm of architecture and design. So yes, you should definitely go for it. But don't expect too much in terms of a salary pay at the initial time of your career. That anyway, any architect should not do. But yeah, specifically for conservation architects, yeah, you should. Is there a scope for urban design in India? How can one practice it? Look for urban design firms. Just type urban design firms India and it will give you a list of 100 firms that are doing urban design projects. Go for an internship over there or apply for a job. After working, Manan, do you want to take that question? Webber's question?
Yeah. I have Webber's question. Like after working in different, should one decide to start with experience of designing and construction? What else should one consider?
Oh, you should consider these three things. Number one, how to market yourself. Number two is how to finance yourself and how to make savings. And number three is how to build a team. So you have to get the right people on board. So these three things no one can teach you. This is something only that you will get through your experience. But marketing, finance, and building a team. Please share this on Manan. Please share this on IGTV.
Yeah. IGTV.
Okay. It's a lot of that now. Yeah, Manan, the next one.
Scope of urban designing in India, where to do the job, like where are
we've answered this.
We have answered this. What is your opinion on taking masters in computational design?
My opinion on doing masters in computational design is good because yeah, softwares are the future. But it is currently limited in India in terms of if you're going to do a master's in computational design and then eventually come back to India, you're not going to be paid that well. So yeah, if you're looking at a career abroad, it is really good.
We have one. Yeah. What if I have not passed architecture yet? I get some small scale project of plan. Should I take it and will it impact illegally on my profession?
No, it will not impact illegally on your profession because now no one needs an architecture degree only to practice as an architect, if you remember. So it does not matter. I mean, it's very good that you're being able to practice something in your third, fourth year only.
We have a lot of them coming, and after working in a certain city.
So, Manan, is this for 1 hour?
Yeah, I think it's for 1 hour. After then, the live session will end automatically.
Okay.
We have one.
Yeah, you can go ahead with the question.
I think then we'll just try to wrap up. After B.Arch, one should join their city, or what should one be in a firm?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. After B.Arch, one should join a firm in tier 1 or tier 2 city, or what should one be looking in a firm after B.Arch? Look at the scale of projects you're looking at. Some people like rural architecture, they want to go into a more tier 2, tier 3 city kind of a project. And there are a lot of tier 1 city firms also that are working on rural architecture or vernacular architecture. There is someone who wants to do sustainability, someone who wants to do project management or work as a site architect. So it depends on what you want to do. There is no such thing as which city should you go for. Okay, so decide what you want to do. What is your opinion if we do masters abroad and settle there and start your own entrepreneurship there itself? All the best. Because India is way more welcoming to entrepreneurs than any other country on this planet. But it's not difficult, but it will take you more time. But all the best for that. After working in a certain city for a year or two, is it advisable to change cities in search of a better job? Yeah, obviously you will get a better experience. But I don't like people switching jobs that soon. I think you should always climb the ladder. If you're liking that firm, just for the sake of it, कि नहीं भाई अलग experience लेना है तो firm change करने का कोई मतलब नहीं है. You should always grow with the firm, and you will know that okay, you are becoming a more important part of that firm when the years are passing. So you will also realize that from where you started to where you are right now, there's going to be a big graph.
Okay, so one more thing, Karan, we have one of my partner is also super excited wants to join the live session.
Sure.
So I'll just inviting her to.
Sure.
So she'll be some rapid fire question from me.
चलो करते हैं.
So I have sent her the
Done. Hi.
Hi guys, so I was super excited and enthusiastic that this session is taking a great pitch and people are just, they're just texting me that, you have turned the tables around for everybody. So I was so excited to just appreciate you for a minute that this session has been amazing and so overwhelming.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so once we take questions from the audience, we have a rapid fire series prepared for you. So I'll be the one going forward to it.
ये coffee with Karan turntable हो गया.
But this was important to add the fun.
Yes. Tell me.
So
how are we doing this? Questions will have to come back, right?
I think
I just remember one or two questions, so I'll just answer that first. Yeah. So also Manan, you can hear me clearly, right?
Yeah. You're audible.
Okay, perfect. So one question was whether is it essential to do masters only because some universities, I think some colleges require masters for teaching.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you want to eventually go into teaching, which actually India really needs badly, some good teachers in the fraternity. So if you do want to go into teaching, then yes, most of the times a master's degree is required, but that master's degree is not required from abroad. You don't need to do a master's degree from abroad. It's okay if you do it from India as well. From, again, like I mentioned, a reputed university ka koi location nahi hota. Like, it's not judged by the location. It's judged by the course, the faculty that is teaching it, and what you're going to learn out of it. So yes, masters is required for if you want to go into teaching. Yeah. So there are some questions.
Yeah.
We have one question which says, what is your opinion about MBA in real estate and urban infrastructure management, and then joining a multinational company?
Yeah, because you have already decided your path. You want to join a multinational company. So that is the path to go for a multinational company. You need to do an MBA. You need to be, into business management for you to eventually go into a multinational company. So, I mean, it's very clear. You have just written your entire future in one line.
True. So, which university should be preferred for masters in sustainability?
I will. I actually will not label universities here, but if you want a very objective answer, then sustainability is more predominant in the European Union and Canada. Okay, so even UK, and I'm mentioning UK specifically because of the Brexit. But yes, the reason why I'm saying UK, European Union and Canada is because they are a little more sensitive towards sustainability. And another upcoming country with a lot of universities in sustainability is Singapore, where I'll specify one university is NUS. It's very, very good and very, very vital in terms of what knowledge they share for sustainability.
So one question, which I also want to ask, is it worth giving GATE exam just after BAC?
No, please, no. ये तो ना ये मतलब ये करना बंद कर दो. ये क्यों? For what reason? मतलब I'm not understanding only this. Are they take the experience? It's going to, but actually, Bhawna, this is more related to the fact that I have just got my 5 years of education. It will be easier for me to prepare for an exam. It is that logic. Which, if you are made for it, if you're going to be, if you have made up your mind of doing certain things in a certain way, it's going to be done even after 2 years. I'm sorry, but my father went into law at the age of 54. So there is no such age of learning. Okay. So it's okay. I mean, I don't think it makes any sense to do a GATE exam immediately.
So I want to go for landscape architecture. Should I join?
Sorry, I'll just add a little bit. I'll just add a little bit to my previous question, previous answer. That yes, sometimes people feel that they'll not succeed in one go,
and we should take some experience of the exam also.
Yeah, take some experience.
which is why I feel a lot of people end up doing the GATE exam. So just for those who don't know what GATE exams is basically it's majorly a platform where you get into the major, IITs and all the major good colleges across India for your masters. Okay, so so a lot of people feel that they are not going to be able to perform that good in the first attempt itself, which is why they end up doing one at least. पर वो तो obvious है, अगर आप immediately एक साल में वही साल में कर दोगे तो you've not gained some fantastic knowledge for you to be able to give the GATE exam, and you should rather prepare for it longer.
True. So we have one question. It says, I want to go for landscape architecture. Should I join a landscape firm instead of going for masters?
Yes, definitely join a landscape firm because I think a lot of universities are going to come and block our page for me to say this that what the hell is happening. But anyway, I think what you learn in the landscape practice is genuinely bookish knowledge. Okay, it will teach you what French and Italian names of plants and species and all those things. And I'm not a landscape designer, so I do not know an experience of landscape design across the world in terms of masters. But I can definitely vouch for the fact that there are some beautiful, amazing firms doing fantastic work in landscape and on the grassroots level. Like, imagine making a garden for a community, or imagine designing an entire pedestal or an entire, chai stall katta for an urban, as an urban design proposal via a firm or via a government. So I think that will give you the grassroots importance of the grassroots realities of a country like India.
True. So like my father is a landscape designer and he has no degree, like legit, he has no degree which relates to architecture, landscape, biotechnology, nothing. And still he's doing so well here. So before this session, I was into that I have to do a master's in landscape architecture, and I think that I have to rethink everything again. So I was fighting with Manan that you take this session because I am in favor of doing masters. I have to do my masters in landscape.
I was
Oh
against.
my God.
That's why we already had.
Okay.
If I've turned you around, then I'm not I'm pretty. No, I don't want to turn anyone around. I just want people to be more sensitive about their future, about their thoughts of why to do masters.
Now there's a space for rethinking the thoughts. Initially, there were no spaces that I was very much adamant that I have to go for landscape. But now we need to think about it. So I think this was the last question. We can now head. Yeah. Okay. So further moving to the short rapid fire series that I have planned for you. The first one is what is one thing that you hate and love about architecture and the field?
Okay. What I love about architecture is that I think we are. I've said this multiple times, and I'm going to say it very short. That doctors will give you life, okay, but architects give you a lifestyle. And I think that is what is very, very crucial in the spectrum, in the course that we learn and eventually what we are. What I hate about architecture is that 90% of everyone else don't know that and recognize it.
Very true. Architect you fascinate the most?
Oh my God. Like, I think, okay, so I'll have to say, I have two. One is Jeffrey Bhawna. How he brings in nature into his projects is fantastic. And number two is Zaha ma'am. I think she's someone who has become an inspiration for so many people to teach them that there is no certain set rules to do something, and there are no parameters, especially for women in architecture, or even in terms of straight lines in architecture for that matter. And so I think she's a big inspiration.
Okay, so third is, which is your favorite architectural structure across the globe?
My favorite architectural structure is the I don't know if you know, there's this aquarium in India that is shaped like a fish. There is this
No.
fish-shaped aquarium. So basically, my answer is full of sarcasm that, you know, architects, because they are facilitators and because they are the ones that are giving the lifestyle and the icons of those lifestyles, one should always remember that how responsible you should actually be before designing something. So
I think this comes from the concepts that we're making in first year and second years.
yeah.
Okay, so the fourth question, what would you be doing if you weren't doing your current role as an architect?
If I was not doing, if I was not an architect, so till I was 12 or 13, I wanted to be either a pilot or a teacher. But I mean, that's probably unrealistic. But eventually, I think now I think I would be, I don't know, someone who specializes in geography. I love countries, so yeah.
Okay. So what is one thing people won't guess about you, or it is your secret skill?
देखो secret skill है तो मैं secret तो बोलूंगा नहीं, ठीक है? पर one thing that someone cannot guess, okay, I think architects are, after a point in life, architects are not underpaid.
Okay.
Especially when, and if you're having your own firm, for sure you're not underpaid.
Yeah, that's true. When we have our own firm, then you're not underpaid. But bachelors, you know, running around for jobs, there
Yeah,
sometimes
that entire phase is
different.
It's difficult.
So last question, which 3 items could you not live without?
3 items I could not live without. Items. Oh my God, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna say my phone, obviously. I have this diary which I maintain to note all my meetings. If I don't have my diary with me, everyone who knows me knows this, that I'm handicapped, because it has all my. I have this I have this thing of noting down everything. So if I don't have that, I'm handicapped. And lastly, the third thing that. Okay. My wallet, man. बहुत मुश्किल से कमाए हैं, जो भी कमाए हैं, तो my wallet.
Okay, so before we end, as we know that our profession is changing and architecture is no longer the old man's profession as it was. So what are your suggestions for this for a student?
I think I'm going to say that, you know, it's not just thinking big that makes a difference. It's actually doing those efforts, putting those efforts in to become something big. What matters? Okay. I think we need to come out of this phase of sulking that, oh, we are underpaid. Oh, we are, you know, working for innumerable number of hours. Oh, we are, you know, like what is this world of architecture? It has no scope, etc., etc. Number one, you chose it. Okay. Number two, you don't know what the generation before us, or even the batches, 3-4 batches before you, have gone through. Okay.
Very true.
So I think one thing that architects today need to stop doing is self-sympathy. Come out of it.
We really need to appreciate ourselves.
You need to appreciate yourself, and if you will appreciate yourself, everyone around you, your clients, everyone will.
Yeah.
And instead of sulking, spend that. Even if you spend those 10 hours making a better portfolio, it's going to work
exactly
better.
That
or
is
learn
also
a course.
my
Learn something. I mean, you know, learn a software or something.
Go for a course, accept masters, and find your niche.
नहीं ऐसा, अरे बाबा, ये confusion में ये मत रखो कि masters मत करो सिर्फ तब जब तुम्हें पता है कि तुम्हें क्यों करना है. Don't do it because the world is saying or expecting you to do it.
Yeah, very true. So by this note, I think we can end our session. We don't have any more questions. Yeah. So thank you so much for touching upon almost every aspect related to masters and clearing our thoughts and minds off. It's really great to have you over this platform and see what an experienced person really looks like and what honest opinions look like.
Just and one thing architects need to stop doing is be diplomatic. We'll make a better world if we are not diplomatic.
I think yes.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.